Welcome back to Laughing in the Dark, the podcast where I hang out in haunted places with comedians. This is another fixture in our Sunday Minisode series where I talk to you about your ghost stories. For this Minisode, I spoke to Brandon, a friend of mine and photographer from Portland, Oregon, about some horrifying paranormal experiences that he has encountered. Here's the call.
Hello.
Hello, is this Brandon?
Yes, it is.
Hi, this is Sara
Hey.
from Laughing in the Dark.
Hi, Sarah.
Hi, how are you?
How are you? I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Okay, we know each other. We can get out in front of that. Once I looked at you, I was like, oh, is this the photographer, Brandon? And my manager was like, yeah. Do you know them?
Yeah.
Yeah, I do.
It's just me.
It's just me. No one exciting.
Yeah. Just the old friend.
Yeah, just an old acquaintance. So for listeners,
Yeah, the
this
old
is
acquaintance.
Brandon. He's a photographer, and we've worked together before. We're very close friends.
So close.
So,
The closest.
Maybe too close. Actually, do you
Never
want...
go a moment without seeing you.
No, actually, we're together right now. Do you want to promote your photography or anything on this minisode?
Yeah, sure. Well, my Instagram is at Misguided Merman. And that's where I post all of my pictures mainly because that's what people do these days. People don't have portfolios, they have Instagrams.
Of course,
so
yeah.
I have an Instagram, and that's where you can find anything that I post. I have a Twitter too, but I don't use it too much. But yeah, Instagram.
Yeah, you have a YouTube channel as well, don't you?
Yes, yeah, I have a YouTube channel and a WeedTube channel, which is a new version of YouTube for cannabis content. So I make scary videos on there and do kind of spooky videos. I have a series called High Horror. So I do scary videos and that people can watch while they get high.
Why would you?
And then
why would you want to do that? So, I mean, I'm sorry, but isn't that horrifying? Isn't that a lot?
I think that's the point. I don't. People like to hurt themselves,
right?
And they want to be the most scared. I mean, I personally, I feel like when I am watching a scary movie, I'm a huge horror fanatic and scary movie fanatic. And so when I'm watching something, I love getting scared, but then once I discovered weed and the enhanced feelings of that when I'm watching something, it's like you're there. You know how you hear
it's more of an immersive
movies?
experience kind of a deal.
Yeah, you're literally being killed, as you're hearing about it. So
that sounds lovely.
Very immersive. It's fun. I love doing it.
Maybe I should give it a shot. I mean, I do love horror and I love being scared and that's interesting. Well, yeah, so we'll definitely have
You don't have to be high to watch it.
Well, we'll put a link on our website too. So if any listeners kind of want to check it out, maybe sober just to kind of dip one toe in, or maybe they want the full immersive. I don't know. I don't know how many states have legal weed. We live in Oregon where it's legal, so.
Yeah. I'm not positive on the facts. I should be, but I think it's 15 states now have legal recreational weed.
Oh, okay.
So it's it's spreading.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, so do you have a ghost story for me?
Oh my God.
Oh my God, for a second I thought you were going to go,
eternally.
No, I don't. Oh.
No, not today.
I don't, but I have this YouTube channel.
Yeah, that's it. Bye guys. No, yeah. I have been haunted my entire life.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's Maybe I'm just like crazy, or maybe like things like me and it's like leached onto me. But like, I mean, as my earliest memories are of like seeing spirits like in my house. And I mean, who's to say they were actually spirits, but that's what I processed them as when I was like 3 and 4. And I would see like heads like falling from the ceiling, like into my bed.
When
like
you were
just
how
weird
old?
things. I would see like 4 years old.
Oh.
Like I would see full like donkey apparitions. Like actual like a donkey. Yeah, like just the weirdest little things. One time I saw like a goblin like behind a chair, and I was so scared I screamed. My mom woke up. She like called my grandma and was like, "Do we need to have him like exercise? Like why does this keep happening?" So it was like just weird little things like that would happen. It wasn't like debilitating per se, but it was just very unsettling, and I just like grew up seeing random things sometimes. Yeah, it was just weird. I don't like being alone, scared all the time. But when I got older, that was when things started to kind of like emerge, I would say. When I was I was like 13, and we moved to this like small town of Sandy, Oregon. There's like 10,000 people, I would say, in like the whole radius of the town. So it's not like too small, but it's pretty small. And when we moved there, we were really excited because it was like a 3-story duplex, and my room was on the very bottom level, so it was like already scary. But we were excited to like have the extra space because we had never I'd never had stairs in my house, so I was like, "Ooh, this is cool. We're rich now." Yeah. And but then, so when I moved there, I started going to school, and I started getting like talk about like the town, and I told people like where I lived, and they would tell me like, "Oh, is that the house that had like the fires a few years ago?" And I was like, "What do you? I don't know. Like I've never heard that." And I kind of started to like gather information from people that there could have been a fire where I lived maybe like 5-10 years ago, and that they basically rebuilt the properties and moved new people in. So that's why we were able to live there, like for the price.
Yeah, yeah.
So there had been something that had happened. I didn't think much of it. I mean, I didn't think much of this house. It was nice. I didn't care about anything. There was no like creepy vibes at first. But then, like as time went on, I would say like I lived there probably 2 years, and things started like lights started going off. I would be like upstairs in the living room, and I would see like the light in the attic turn on, and like nobody else would be home. I just started getting more and more creeped out. I'd have really vivid dreams, and I would always see like a person in my room, like this. It was this woman, and I remember so vividly. She would be like in the corner of my room, and I never understood like why, what it was.
But did she feel like negative in any way, or was it just kind of like, oh, she's there?
It was more observant rather than like negative or positive.
Yeah.
It kind of like, oh, she's there.
Like a neutral observer.
Yeah. Yeah, like someone just like looking, like what are you, you know?
Yeah.
And I mean, that was, that was passive stuff. Like I didn't amount that to a haunting. Like I was kind of just like, this is just, fun. Like I've seen horror movies. This is just like cool stuff.
Right.
Then like things started getting a little worse, and I would see like something out of the corner of my eye. I would see something like walk up the stairs, and I'm like, nobody else is here. There's nobody that could have walked up the stairs. So my mom let me get a cat because I was lonely, wanted a friend to be with me in my little basement. And this cat, his name is Jasper. I still have him. He's so sweet and fat and like lazy.
Oh.
But when he got, he's the laziest, sweetest thing. But then when he got into this house, he was immediately terrified. And he didn't come out for, I think, like 2 weeks. He would just hide under beds, and like in the middle of the night, he would crawl from like one bed to like a couch, and then he would like hide under there. And he just never came out. And then once he did start coming out, he would run up all 3 flights of stairs, like from the attic all the way down to the basement, like in a frantic run. And this was in like the middle of the night. Like it would be midnight and all of a sudden he would run to the attic and then run back downstairs. And mind you, he's like 20 pounds. Like he shouldn't be running at all. You'd just like, it'd be like 3 a.m. and you'd hear like, and you're just like going up the stairs.
Oh my God.
So that became like stressful. And I thought, okay, he's just like a crazy cat. Maybe he's on something. Who knows? So then like the peak, I would say, So I got home from school, I walked down the stairs, I walked into my bedroom, and I left my door open, and I never do that. I'm a teenager. We close our doors.
Yeah.
And I left it open for some reason, and I sit on my bed, and I just look at the open door, and all of a sudden, I see the light fixture in the hallway just fall, and it crashes to the ground, and I'm just like staring, still on my bed, seeing this like glass all over the ground from where I was just standing seconds ago. Wow. And I was just creeped out. I maybe it was a loose screw, but like just me not closing the door, all of that, it was very odd. So then the next
and even
day,
you sitting on the end of the bed just looking out, like why were you doing that?
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah, like why was I in this like trance, waiting for something to happen? And so the next day I was still like scared from that happening. And I was kind of connecting all these dots and was kind of thinking like something's going on in this house. Similar thing happened and I came home from school. I shut my door this time, of course, and I'm sitting on my bed and I was kind of like staring off in the same way. And all of a sudden I see a hanging like full body mirror on my wall just fall forward and crash on the ground.
Oh my God.
And at that point I was just like, what is happening?
Yeah.
Like this isn't normal. This isn't okay.
Also, this is a lot of work to clean up multiple times.
Yeah. So much glass. Like,
oh my gosh. And then you get like splinters.
Yeah. And plus it's a mirror. So I'm like, great, that's 7 years of bad luck I have to deal with.
Yeah, that's true too.
It's not even my fault.
But also you're like, how do I know if this whole outfit looks horrible or not? Like,
yeah.
I don't even
know. I can't see myself. Fine, ghost.
I'm in high school, so this is like a huge deal. I'm going to look like an idiot.
Like I couldn't I couldn't even see my zits. Like, come on. So
that's really
I
rude.
was scared. And I'm very much a like Virgo perfectionist personality where like if I see a problem, I'm gonna do whatever I can to fix it.
Right.
And of course, like a ghost problem, I'm like, how do I even fix that? Where do I start?
Right.
So I got ordained. I got ordained when I was 18 years old. As soon as I could, I got ordained.
Oh my God.
And I started memorizing Latin exorcisms.
That's awesome.
Because my logic was like, okay, if there's a ghost, it's fine. But like, if there's a demon, that can possess me.
That's not.
So if I don't want that, you know? So if I'm ordained and I have the words in my head memorized to get it out, then it can't come in. Right.
No, so that's amazing, actually. I took Latin in high school. I love it.
Oh my gosh. Yes. See, so maybe that helped too, not get possessed.
No, I didn't do very well. I mean, I did okay, but this is neither here nor there. Latin is awesome. Carry on.
Yeah. I still like have the exorcisms like partially in my head, but I just felt like I had to prepare myself. Like I had to be able to fight off this demon that was attacking me. And when I got ordained and when I like learned these exorcisms, literally just to learn the exorcisms, like I have no plans of marrying people. Like I just wanted to be able to exercise myself.
That's fucking awesome.
But once that happened, I like stopped experiencing the haunting, completely. It didn't happen at that house anymore. Mm-hmm. So I kind of thought like, okay, I was right. Like there was a demon and I fixed it. And so things were kind of quiet and I was kind of fine for like a couple of years. And then I would say in like 2014, I moved into a house with my best friends, and things like started happening again. Okay. So this house, it was a foreclosed 3-bedroom house, but the previous owner was my best friend. Let's just call her Ashley. It was her stepdad's old house. So we were able to stay there basically until the bank came. At least that's what I was told. It was a very sketchy situation. So we got there and we moved in and immediately, I mean, the house had a terrible, like, scary vibe because people had been living there and they got kicked out basically so that we could live there for like cheap rent. It was such a weird situation, but there was like,
that's so, yeah.
Yeah. There were like used clothes, like still there, like people, like dishes, like random things, like trash. So we had to like clean up the house before we could even live in it. Mm-hmm. So it just wasn't off to a great start. But we were just excited to have a house and have like cheap rent and be, 3 best friends. Mm-hmm. So, initially it was just me and Ashley. I had another friend that came, you can call her Bailey. She came like later, but when I got more scared, we'll get there. Ashley was there. Yeah. So Ashley was there and me and her were excited to like have this house. And immediately, like the first night, we noticed the alarm was broken and it would just like go off. And it went off like somebody came into the house and we both left our rooms and we were like, who's home? We're both here and no one came home. The alarm just like went off. So that became like a conflict. And we kind of just started dealing with that as it would happen. Beep. It would be like beep, 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 like someone opened the door basically.
Oh, yeah.
So Ashley, she moved in her boyfriend basically like the first or second night because I think she was scared, honestly. But we started like getting more distant because I was immediately like, something's wrong with this house. Like, there's something here. And she's like, no, just shut up. Like, we're happy to be here. And I'm like, no, something's off. Like, I feel it. And so she brought her boyfriend. Her boyfriend had this pet Rottweiler who was like a guard dog who was going to like stay in our yard.
Yeah.
I was kind of just here for it all, dealing with it, whatever. Well, this dog would every night, without a doubt, it would start barking at the house, like barking like it was protecting us, like somebody was coming at it, like angry, vicious, like get out of my house. Mm-hmm. And I thought I was scared every time it would happen. And Ashley would just be like, oh, that dumb dog. Like, you need to shut up. And I'm like, no, something's wrong.
Would the dog bark and the little alarm thing go off too?
Yes. Yeah. So it would be like, I mean, it wouldn't happen simultaneously, but it would be within the same amount of time because the alarm would just always go off.
Oh, yeah. It was kind of a nuisance.
Like every few hours you would hear someone like open the door, but nobody would be there. So, like, you would hear, beep, 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 and then, like, a few minutes later, the dog would start barking, and so I was, like, connect the two dogs and be like, oh, my God, that's a ghost entering the house, and the dog sees it, like, they just didn't add it up. So, I would also hear, like, screams. I would hear, like, I would hear, like, faint scream. And I was really freaked out. I didn't understand. And I kind of, I would hear it from underneath my floor. Oh. And, which was terrifying.
Wait, and you're on the ground floor, right? Like there's not a basement or anything?
Exactly. Yeah, there's nothing underneath me. And it's a 1-story house.
Yeah.
And I would hear scratches under the floor. Eventually I kind of like gathered that it was probably like raccoons or like cats or something that were living under the house.
Okay, yeah.
But it was scary to hear like scratches and screams coming from under your floorboards. But I mean, so far it's like it all kind of adds up to just like weird things. Like nothing is too crazy. But I'm still like scared at this point.
Yeah.
So I invite my friend Bailey to come live in the house with us. And she's excited about it because it's cheap rent, because it's a foreclosed home. So she comes and lives with us. Little does she know that I'm just terrified and I need a friend there. So I think it was Halloween. And me and Bailey had always done kind of like witchy sort of things together. Like we would use pendulums and like pretend to talk to ghosts or like tell each other's future with like tarot cards and stuff. We were like those were our activities.
Yeah.
So when she was there and it was Halloween, we decided to do a seance to try to communicate with whatever is in the house.
So you had told her about it. Oh.
Yeah, she immediately like believed me. Like she was like, yeah, like I feel it too, but the rent's cheap. So
right. But and then at the same time you probably like wanted someone there who was validating how you were feeling too, I imagine. You know?
Yeah. Exactly. Because Ashley was hanging out with her boyfriend all the time as well.
Yeah.
So I was kind of just like alone and scared most of the time. So like anything I could do to get this friend in the house, like I was willing to do.
Right. So it'll be fun.
I was so happy. I was so happy she was there.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it was Halloween. We decided to do this seance in the living room. And so we get a candle. I get a pendulum. And because I'm ordained, I decide to like take the lead and try to communicate with whatever's in the house.
Yeah.
So with a pendulum, you kind of like you ask questions and then you let the ghost or entity determine which way it swings, basically, for yes and no.
Mm-hmm.
So we kind of set it up, and I was just kind of waiting and asking if anyone was there. And mind you, I mean, it's midnight on Halloween, like the worst day to be doing this, or the best, depending on your point of view. But so immediately, the pendulum starts swinging back and forth so hard, like the hardest I've ever experienced. It felt like someone was actually pulling on it. Mm-hmm. And I expressed that to Bailey. I was like, I feel someone pulling on the chain. Like this doesn't feel normal. And we both watched as the chain like untangled as it like got tighter. And it was so surreal. Like we could tell that there was something trying, I mean, at least as far as we know, that something was like trying to communicate through this medium.
Yeah.
And as we were kind of like, oh my God, here, like, yes, like it starts banging like for yes, like it's here. And as we're like, oh my God, what do we do? Like we didn't think this far ahead.
Right.
Then immediately the candle we were using blows out.
Oh no.
And so we were scared. Like I was terrified. Immediately we kind of just stopped and we were like, okay, we can't do this anymore. We made a mistake. Like this isn't okay. This shouldn't have happened. Mm-hmm. And something just felt wrong. And at that point, things started to increase. That night, things started to increase. The alarm started going off more. I heard like footsteps going down the hallway, and I assumed that it was like Bailey coming to my room to talk with me. And I opened my door, and there was nobody there. Mm-hmm. So like, I was starting to get more scared. And the very next day, we decided that we needed to sage the house and try to like clear it of this negative energy.
Yeah.
So I get out my sage. We're like ready. We're going through. I'm doing my like ordained, my Latin phrases. And we're trying
I just
to
love
banish
how you
demon.
laugh about being ordained. Like you do take it seriously because like, you're using it for a purpose, but you're just like, yeah, I'm like ordained.
I mean, I was like laughing as it was happening because I'm like, this is so crazy,
right?
But it needs to happen.
But yeah, exactly. If this is what's working, whatever. Like, let's just do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I just felt like I had no other means of protecting myself. Like it's either die or be ordained.
Yeah. And you're just like it's okay. I'm options. A minister.
Yeah. Like I'm ready. So yeah, we're stage in the house. I'm doing my Latin exorcism.
Yes.
And we're trying to get this ghost out. And for a minute, like, things kind of seemed okay. I will admit that, like, while we were doing it, we had to go into Ashley's room, but she wasn't home. So we, like, kind of, like, did it really quickly because we didn't want to, like, be like, hey, we staged your room while you were gone. Yeah. But, like, we needed to get the energy out.
Yeah.
So I, like, kind of worried that maybe we didn't well enough. Like, maybe we did, like, a half-assed job on, like, you know, staging the place, which is never good. Are you supposed to giggle?
Like, is that...
Yeah, like, am I supposed to be, like, laughing while this is happening? Because I'm having so much fun.
That's amazing.
I mean, I had hope.
Yes.
I was like, yes, we're safe. Everything's great.
But you're also like, this is awesome also. Like, I hope this works, but like, this is rad.
I'm a ghost hunter.
Yes. Okay, love it.
Yeah, I was ready to, like, star in my own, like, HBO special about, like, killing ghosts.
That's great. Okay. So does it work?
So we thought it did at first. Like, things were kind of okay. We were both kind of in this, like, dead space of, like, waiting for something to happen.
Right.
And, of course, the alarm still went off.
Yeah.
And I remember that morning it went off when I was in the shower. And nobody else, like, everybody else had left for work. So I thought, oh, somebody, like, just came home. And I got out of the shower to, like, greet whoever was here and be like, hey, I'm going to be in here for a little longer. And nobody was there. Nobody was in the house. And I had heard footsteps, like, outside the door. Like, I heard someone come in our house and nobody was there. So I was scared already. I texted Bailey and I was like, I'm scared. I don't think this works. And then I think that's about the time that our ice machine, like, so we had a fridge that had the ice thing where it, like, shoots out ice for your drinks or for fun, whatever you want to use the ice for. It would shoot out ice cubes, like, just randomly. Like, we would be in the kitchen, like, me and Bailey would be talking about how haunted the house is and, like, what we're going to do. And all of a sudden, the ice machine would shoot out, like, 3 ice cubes onto the ground.
Huh.
And we were just like, okay, that's normal. That's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that became, like, a constant as well. So I would, like, open my door and I would see, like, ice cubes on the ground. I was like, okay, just a normal morning.
Yeah.
And, you know, with the footsteps, like, with all of that, it was just kind of a rising tension to the house.
Yeah.
So Bailey was scared. I was scared. We were kind of at this point where we were like, she would come and sleep in my room and kind of make, like, a nest on the floor because she was too scared to sleep in her own room.
Yeah.
Mind you, we're like 21. But she was scared and I respected it because I was scared too.
Right.
So she had done that a few times and it kind of just became a thing. And, one night she gets her, like, pillows and blankets. She puts them on the floor. We go to bed like normal. Everything's fine. And I have this, like, crazy vivid dream where she wakes up and she is, like, at the door, like, something is going on. And I just remember her saying, like, Brandon, wake up, Brandon. Like, I need you, Brandon, come on. And I'm just, like, ignoring her and, like, going back to bed and just like, I need to sleep.
Yeah.
And I wake up in the morning and I, like, tell her this first thing. And I'm like, I had this dream that you were, like, trying to wake me up. It was really weird. She's like, no, you didn't. You did not have that dream. And I was like, what do you mean? Yes, I did. And she goes, she tells me that she had a dream that night that something opened my door and she saw these long black fingers, like, creeping through, and she immediately pushed it closed and was holding it shut as she was screaming for me to wake up.
So it was her dream too?
Yeah. Like, she had that dream. I had a dream that she was telling me to wake up.
But she wasn't actually doing that.
Exactly.
Oh my God. That's so weird.
Yeah. Yeah. I couldn't, like, we were both flabbergasted, just, like, stuck and terrified and just, like, how did we both have the same dream? Like that's not normal. Because I just remember seeing her at the door and being like, Brandon, and me turning back around. And she remembers being at the door, holding it closed and saying my name. And I'm just like, I still get chills, like thinking about it to this day, because I don't have an explanation for that at all. Like I've never
like you both remember
heard of someone
waking up from that. Like there's no way at all that this actually happened.
Yeah. Like we both remember this
as a dream. Like I guess you know when it's a dream because you wake up and you're like, oh, that was weird.
Yeah. Yeah. Like not like, you know, I remember turning over and like her being like, Brandon, wake up, and me like turning back over, you know, and me waking up and being like, that was a weird specific dream.
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
So it's just so scary. And we were terrified. We were trying to convince Ashley of like what was happening. And because we had both experienced these things, and Bailey had experienced like little things on her own where she had heard footsteps. Her phone would like go missing and fall off of her bed and just like disappear. Things would like move around in her room when she was gone, like little things like that. So we were both like fully convinced that there was something wrong with this house. And I think I would say the final like breaking point was when I remember I went into the bathroom just like a normal morning, and I had to use the bathroom, and I see our bathroom had like a back door because it was kind of like a mud room, and I see at the door there are these giant footprints, and they like don't match human footprints, they don't match the dog's footprints. Like it was, the only way to describe it is like a 3-toed hoof. Like literally
God.
Straight out of Paranormal Activity. Like I thought it was a joke. Like I was like looking for like a camera. Like I thought one of them was like pranking me for YouTube or something. Like I didn't understand what it was and like how it was there. Like
it was there in like mud?
And it was muddy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was mud. So it was like someone like stepped in from outside, but like this someone was a demon. And it was huge. Like I couldn't, because they didn't, I thought maybe like, okay, maybe it's a dog. The dog like slid around, so it looked like a weird footprint, but like the dog didn't come inside. I asked Ashley and her boyfriend like if they had been outside. None of them had been outside. And I took a picture, and like we all talked about it.
Do you still have
like,
that
me
picture?
And Bailey. I don't. It was on like an old phone that also broke in that house because that phone fell off of my bed and like shattered when I was not in the room. Yeah, like things like that. Like it was just maybe that was why. Maybe this like demon didn't want its footprints out in the world. But yeah, that was the whole thing too. I remember when my phone shattered and I was like, I didn't touch it. There's no way it could have fallen, but it's now shattered. But so that was, it was just terrifying. And me and Bailey were so scared at that point that Bailey moved out immediately. She just stopped coming home and she started staying at her dad's house. Oh. And eventually she came and like grabbed her stuff. And I was kind of upset because, you know, she was my saving grace. So like we started to stop talking. And then shortly after I moved out and I moved back home as well because I didn't want to be there with Ashley and like the demons. So it kind of became this like omen house, and it tore apart like all of our friendships.
Oh my God.
I had this like experience that I like can never forget and like don't have an explanation for. Yeah.
Have you made up with at least Bailey or any of those people?
No,
wow.
No. I haven't talked to them like since. I mean, Bailey recently, like a few months ago, she sent me an email and kind of like caught me up on like how she's been and like asked how I've been. And I emailed her back, but we kind of just like left it at that. Mm-hmm. But we haven't reconnected. And I mean, all three of us were best friends.
Yeah.
And I had known Ashley since I was 4 years old. Our parents used to date each other.
Oh, wow.
And so for us to go from like being so close to, I haven't seen her since, 2015. Like,
wow.
It's crazy. It was just a crazy experience, and it scared me, and I feel fine now. I don't feel like anything followed me, but I really do feel like that house was either like a portal or like just something, like a center of just negativity. It just didn't feel right at all. And I'll never forget that house and how terrifying it was.
Thank you for your call, Brandon. I love you so much. Do you have a ghost story that you want to tell on Laughing in the Dark? Email us at litdarkpodcast@gmail.com or write to us on our Contact Us form on our website, litdarkpodcast.com. We may want to feature you on the show. Thanks so much for listening.